Welcome back to Into the Chatterverse, where two gens share their 2 cents on pop media. I am Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics.
And I'm Bill, and I'm curious as to how Star Wars is going to go up against Monday Night
Bum,
Football.
bum, 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 bum. Okay, to kick things off with that, so we've got the first drop of the Skeleton Crew.
Yes.
And it's going to go up against Monday Night Football, which is the thought that after Thanksgiving, like, no one's going to care? Like, how do you come up with this plan to go up against an institution like that, like, respectfully?
Well, I guess my biggest question is, do you not realize that both are Disney properties?
Oh, dang, that's a good point.
ESPN,
Yeah.
owned by Disney. Disney Plus, obviously owned by
Right.
Disney. And like, oh, it's going to drop at 6. And I looked at that. Yeah, it's dropping at 6.
Which is game time.
Pacific time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's dropping at 9 o'clock.
Right.
And the game will already be, if not the end of the first quarter.
Who's playing? Maybe that has something to do with it.
I have no idea.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. This is a anti-Disney game, so they're really mad about it. Is it? I don't know. I'm reaching here. Who we got? All right, so this game will be
Cleveland, Denver.
Oh, that's
No one will want to watch that game.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, it's in Denver too.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, that's wild. Maybe they're just hedging their bets, right? Like, maybe it's they're just trying to make it all pro Disney that day. It's a pro Disney day, December 2nd. Is it? I don't know. Is that if we decipher the numbers and letters, maybe it spells Disney in some sort of way, and that's why they're doing it.
Yeah, but the only thing is that all the other episodes are going to drop on Tuesday anyway. They're not changing that part of it.
Is there something happening on Tuesday that maybe
I don't know.
Maybe they're earmarking something for the 3rd, and they know something we don't. I got nothing.
Oh yeah, maybe it's 12/3 and it adds up to 15 and
Yeah,
like 15.
yeah.
Sure.
It's like D23 December. Okay, I'm just stop.
What is it? Oh no, that doesn't work either.
No,
because I was like, it was almost to order 66, but it was actually 36. So.
Oh, that would have been good. That
Yeah.
would have been good. All right. We tried. We will come back to Skeleton Crew. But real quick though, I know that we're coming off of the opening weekend of Wicked, and I've seen it because my daughters have seen it literally 3 times already now, and so they took me on this last one, and I have to say, in my hot take on this one, the new pipeline of musicals to movie versions, I think is and forgive me for saying it this way, but the female-driven equivalent of superhero movies. Like, there were so many guys that were brought to the theater that clearly were only brought there to be supportive of their significant others. It was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of ladies over the years, especially at the beginning, where they're sitting in this theater and Iron Man's on the screen and they're like, why am I watching this? Because I love you. And that is really it. Do you think that it's possible that we're going to see a lot of guys suddenly being fans of musicals in the same way that ladies became fans of superhero movies?
Well, but I know a lot of guys that are fans of musicals. Anyway.
True. That's not to say that there weren't ladies that weren't fans of superhero stuff before as well.
Right, but I the musicals have got to be making money somehow, and it can't just be
True.
one gender going to it,
Right.
Or that gender going to it, or whatever, however you want to say it. Like, I know a lot of, gay men and non-gay men that love musicals.
I
like,
love a good musical.
I don't have a problem with musicals.
Yeah.
It's just like, I just don't want to watch a 2-hour and 40-minute movie that's the first half.
It's a long.
And that makes it, the first movie is as long as the musical is.
The actual full musical.
Yeah.
You just watch the whole musical,
Yeah.
and there's an intermission. If you watch the musical.
And that, you know what, and that there's your argument for intermissions
Okay.
in movies.
All right. Okay, I get that. Seeing it, the end, without spoiling the end, visually speaking, had huge superhero vibes to it. Like, the way it's shot, the cinematics, the action, I feel like is a straight up call out to James Gunn, daring him to not do a great job showing Superman flying. And it's one of those things where I do feel like the ability to fly on film has been mastered So it should be something somewhat spectacular. But I was really impressed with the way that they did this at the end of Wicked, that I do kind of have to feel like I need James Gunn to really bring it and give us something more than just Superman flying. I need to feel the power, the energy, and all that stuff of that action. And to you, I'm going to ask, do you have a favorite Superman flying scene that is either TV, movies, whatever?
It's probably reversing time.
Okay, all right.
In the original Superman.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I've gone on to read that he wasn't actually making the world go backwards, right. Is that he was going back in time, so the world was
seemingly going backwards.
Yeah,
all right.
Which makes more sense.
Yeah.
But also, I don't care because it's time travel.
It's what it is.
Yeah,
it's what it is.
But I would say this. I mean, if Superman goes, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all," is that going to change your opinion on it? I mean,
it depends on the smile. I don't know. It depends. If he does that, I would laugh. I would laugh really hard. Yeah, that's funny.
Well, do you have a favorite Superman flying scene?
Actually, I have to give it to Superman and Lois. For a show, right? Mm-hmm. The effects are really, really good. Very high level. Like they spend their money very wisely on it. But specifically at the end of the third season, we're in the fourth season now, which is going to be the final one. But at the end of the third season, he ends up fighting Doomsday, and the way that they fly is amazing. Like, to the point where I personally think that it's better than what we got in Batman v Superman. Like, the two of them fighting, it was better because it was more emotional. It was clearer. That's number one. But like they flew to the moon to fight out in space because it's safer that way. And it's such a like, well, yeah. That's exactly what should happen. So the scale of that fight and the flying of it, my absolute favorite. I was so impressed because I did not expect that level. Like it's my fault. I was underestimating it, and so it impressed me by being so much better than what I thought it was going to be.
Well, I mean, I think that's fair regardless because you're thinking in terms of it being a TV show,
yes,
and coming from. Well, the Arrowverse, I think it depends on what they were using it on. True. Because like even the Flash stuff looked pretty good, but there were times when you're just like,
oh, he's running it again.
Okay. Or are we using stock footage?
Right.
I mean, one of my favorite stock footages is from Star Trek: The Next Generation when the Enterprise goes off into warp, and you can see, it makes that star,
right?
But you can see the star flattening at the top.
Oh, is it? You're like,
and that's star. It's because they used like the original one, and it was off screen,
right?
So instead of the light coming to a point like everything else does, it flat tops, and I'm like, you guys might want to fix that at some point. I think they did end up fixing it later on, but like I know for like the first two seasons that
just like guys,
like it goes off in the distance and you see that little flow. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't look good.
It does happen. So in our new format, we are doing hot takes on things that we're finding on the social medias, and one of the things that we saw was Doomsday was trending on X, and I do think that it was in reference to Superman Lois. But you had another thought right away. What did you think it was?
I thought it was the Avengers. I thought it was Robert Downey Jr.
Got you. Have we heard anything new, anything exciting about that yet?
Just that they're going to start shooting soon.
Okay.
That was about it.
Yeah. I think I'm still curious, tentatively curious about what that's going to be. The more I've heard that he's actually not a variant of Tony Stark disappoints me. I'm not going to lie. Because I don't want him to be Victor Von Doom. I really don't. So I'm tentative in my feelings about it. How do you feel?
No, I feel the same way.
Okay.
I feel that it would work just as easily if he was a variant of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And he either took a turn or right off the bat,
it's just like no,
this is how I am.
I think it would be better. It would be so much more poignant for any sort of emotional interaction that he has with other people. If Steve comes back when he sees Peter Parker, like for him to actually be Tony but still be Doom, like that will hurt that much more for what everyone else will experience with it. But
I think my biggest concern with it is the accent. If he comes off with the
he's Latvian
accent, which doesn't exist.
What will the Robert Downey Jr. version of that be? I don't know. That's
hopefully it's like New Jersey.
Latvian, New Jersey. Woo, that's dark. I've seen a few things talking about Fantastic Four, which I think is very interesting. The whole concept of first steps, and there's a lot of speculation that Franklin Richards is going to be in it, and somehow that's going to play into the attraction of Galactus wanting to interact with the Fantastic Four, possibly eat Franklin because he's supposed to be so powerful. I don't know. There's a lot of speculation.
Well, and the thing that I've heard is that while it feels like it's set in the 60s, it's not set in the 60s.
Right. That's kind of exciting. Like I like the pseudo ambiguity of that.
Yeah, and I'm interested in seeing that. Mm-hmm. It's obviously not the number one on my list. It's going to be Superman.
Yes.
And everyone is like, "Are we going to get a trailer?" And I'm like, I don't care about the trailer.
Yeah, no.
I want to know what the soundtrack is.
Yes.
Because I first of all, I want to know if he's going with a new composer.
Okay.
Or is he going to use John Williams' music?
These are very pivotal questions, actually.
And what are the songs he's going to put in? Because every movie, he's like,
it's a signature.
It's like everything is great about it. Even if I don't like the movie, I like the songs.
You still like the soundtrack.
Yeah,
you still like the soundtrack. Is there? And it's impossible to truly speculate, but is it possible that through this movie and the soundtrack that there is a song that gets brand new life, like Blue Swede got from Guardians of the Galaxy? Like Hooked on a Feeling, I don't think had been as popular as it was made from the Guardians movie. Like since it came, I don't even know if when it came out it was as popular as it became.
Probably not, but there's. Once again, I have to.
I know, and
it would have to be at a pivotal moment, also.
I can see that.
But I and people have to go see the movie too. Like it can be a good movie and people don't go.
That is true. That is very.
You've seen that more and more.
Unfortunately, hopefully that doesn't happen at all. Okay, so one of the last things that we saw on the trending topics list was Skeleton Crew, and this one is interesting because you said you haven't seen a trailer for it. I know I haven't. Like I saw one, but I was backstage at a Comic-Con, so it was playing backwards, so I really couldn't tell what I was seeing until it said Skeleton Crew. I was like, oh, I don't even know what this is. So, what is your understanding of what this is at all? Like, where does it take place? When does it take place in this Star Wars?
I have no idea. No, I know it's supposed to be kid-centric.
Okay.
And the idea is maybe that it's going to bring the fun back to Star Wars.
That's lofty aim for the fan base because Lord knows they would be stop making it about the kids, it's about us. But I think it's a smart thing to do because at some point the older fans are gonna age out, they're gonna die, and you need to bring back some fun that appeals to a small kid watching Star Wars.
Well, George Lucas reaffirmed something I've been saying since day one. Star Wars was made for 12-year-olds. Yes. And that hasn't changed no matter what movie it is.
True. It's very true.
Now, some of them are just worse at it. But in fact, outside of Andor, because you could even say that, like Rogue One,
it's very teeny, right? Like that's a
preteen type thing. Yeah. There's
teen
nothing
romance.
Yeah.
He loves her, but they can't be together because they're dead. Like
but there's too many times they're trying to make something and they don't know what they're making. They don't know who it's focused on.
Right.
Whereas they should just focus on making a good story.
Yeah.
And that's a cop out to some extent because no one goes, I'm going to write the worst.
I'm going to make a bad movie.
I'm going to write the worst thing in the world and watch it make all this money.
Right.
No, because they're people that they put, effort into it. And yes, studios get in the way because they own it. It's their money. Yes.
Like they get to have a say.
But if you don't have pushback,
right.
If you just take it,
whatever happens.
If you're not John Watts and they say, hey, we're making a second Wolf's
right.
movie, and he said,
like,
"Nope, we're not
doing that. Nope, sorry, not sorry. Yeah. We're not doing that." No, I think there's something clever about looking at a property that has existed as long as Star Wars has, and still saying there is new ground that we can make for a new audience. And I think one of the things that I think is so important is to not only consider the new audience factor, but how times have changed and what technologies have allowed for you to do. So like, I'm very excited for different alien species that we might get to see, especially in a kid-friendly format. Like, I want to see a little kid Wookiee. I know that's going to sound silly, but I want to see one because I don't know that I've ever seen that. You know, I'm not saying that I need a toy, but
you've never seen an Ewok before?
Yes. and
I know that's I mean, but that's about as close as you're going to get.
It's kind of what it is.
But I wouldn't doubt that at some point in time we see a hairy kid somewhere.
Like I just want to see some of that fun. You know, we got Grogu, which kind of like made people think like, oh snap, like a young Yoda. Like that's cool. Can we get a baby Wookiee? Like, I want to see that. I think that'd be kind of interesting.
I'll be interested to see if it is actually as fun as people say it is.
Okay.
The reason I haven't watched anything on it is because I'm going to watch it anyway, and I'm just so tired of.
Yeah. Don't spoil it. You know you're.
Well, it's not even spoiling it. It's just that I don't want to know anything about it.
I got you.
I just want to go in. I want to watch it, see what it's like. Past the first episode, because a lot of times you get that first episode and you're like, that was actually good, or it wasn't that bad.
Right.
And all of a sudden it's just like, bam, right off that cliff just comes quickly.
Happens more often than not. I actually think that I want to get on a regimen of not watching trailers for things that I know I'm going to watch already, because I don't want the direction that I'm assuming the story goes into to trick me. Like, I've seen that happen a few times where I see a trailer, I'm like, oh, it's going to be this type of movie. Then you watch it, like, that's not that kind of movie at all. And I feel like it almost does a disservice, especially if the trailer actually is better than what we actually get. So,
well, but that's the idea of a trailer.
I know.
The trailer, in most cases, is going to end up being better.
So much better.
Yeah, unless it's completely confusing, right. Which that happens.
It does. It's such an interesting line that people have to walk, or creatives have to walk, when it comes to what I tell you, what I don't tell you, in order to get you to try to want to see this movie. So, okay.
I think the only trailer that comes to mind that when you say that is the Doctor Strange one.
Okay.
The Multiverse of Madness, and they're showing you all the different variants and everything,
and
you're like, oh god, do I really have to watch What If?
Yep.
Like, I've already seen What If, but are you making people watch What If? And that wasn't the case at all. Had nothing to do with it, which I was happy about, but they could have also done that better, I feel.
Right.
I also felt they could have done better with that movie as well.
Also true. I mean, all due respect, I love you, Sam Raimi. You know that, but I had a lot of issues and feelings about that movie as well. The one that always brings it up for me about that is The Village. The trailer for The Village. This is old M. Night, right? It's set up like a very scary movie. Like, that's what the trailer looks like, and then you watch it and you're like, there's some thrilling moments, but it's not a scary movie. But the trailer makes it seem like he is straight up dipping into horror, and it's not that movie at all. And that's one of the ones I was like, boo, hiss, boo.
I remember watching the Village, and when Joaquin got knocked out of it, I was like, that's where I lost kind of interest in it. And at the end, I'm like, big shock.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, there was a airplane, which I almost feel like was a mistake.
and he just
went with it. It was like, that's actually better than the ending I had for it.
Better than what we were gonna use.
And I also got tired of the, here's the twist.
It was a lot. And wait for it. This is the color. Are you paying attention to the color? Pay attention to this color now, because it's now the new color. It was a lot. I think we needed an M. Night break, and I'm glad that we got it when we got it. I think that might be something fun too for us to talk about later. Is M. Night as a filmmaker? When did he peak? Did he peak? Is there still an opportunity for him to come back and be the wonderkind that people have thought that he was supposed to be in the late 90s? I don't know.
Well, I think he's already had his comeback.
Yeah, Trapped it happened.
Well, that wasn't what his comeback.
Are you talking Devil?
Split?
Yeah, I could see that. All right.
Because it was very low budget.
It was very low budget.
And he made a lot of money.
Yes, it did.
And he was giving a lot of money to the next movie,
and
Glass.
That happened.
Yeah.
I did enjoy Glass, though. Let me not act like I didn't enjoy it, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and I'll say that. But that's what's...
I was hoping it would just be, good or fun, and it wasn't any of it.
Tough crowd. It is Thanksgiving weekend. Do you have anything special coming up movies-wise that's dropping? What's coming out this week?
Moana 2.
Moana 2. You haven't seen Moana 1 yet. So
Nope.
Any chance you're going to do that over the weekend? You going to
Nope.
watch the first one? No?
Nope.
No?
I'm just not interested.
All right, that's fair. What about the live action? You're going to come back for the live action one, right?
Nope.
Okay.
I doubt it. I never saw Beauty and the Beast live action. Yeah. I've seen... I love it when people go, have you seen the live action Lion King? I'm like, There's never made one.
There's no such thing.
There's a hand-drawn one, and there's a
CGI
version. Now, when you get the Jungle Book, yes.
Now that one I saw, and I like that one.
Yeah, and because there's a person in it.
A real person.
But I haven't watched the majority of them.
All right. That's fair. I think Moana is fun. It's got good music. I heard the music before I ever watched the movie, so I like the music.
I heard that's the biggest problem with the second one.
Is the music?
Is the lack of...
Oh, because I think Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote the music for the first one.
He's not back for the second one. And I'm not sure if that had more to do with the fact that originally this was supposed to be a TV show.
Okay.
Then they decided to make it a movie, or maybe they just didn't want to pay him. I haven't really looked into that at all.
Made without him.
He may have been also too busy to do it.
Also true. But then, why are we so Moana heavy all of a sudden with Moana 2 and a live action at the same time? I'm curious if Moana 1 made enough money to warrant that. We will check that out. You want to check it out now?
Yeah, we can do it real quick.
Let's see. 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was making some bank.
Yeah. It made almost $650 million worldwide.
Yeah. No, they were going to make a second one.
Yeah.
That was going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so they weren't going to make a second one. They were going to make a TV show.
Follow up. Yeah.
And I think that was probably a Chapek thing where he's like, I need something on Disney Plus. We're going to make it. And then Iger comes in and is like, nope.
No.
It'll end up on Disney Plus at some point in time.
We'll cobble it together, make it a movie.
Yeah.
Make that work. All right, sweet. This weekend I will be at Fan Expo San Francisco, where I've got a few panels that I'm super excited about. I get to work with Priscilla Presley, Randy Quaid, Giancarlo Esposito. That's going to be the most challenging panel, I think, because how many people are going to want to ask questions about Captain America Brave New World? And Disney has shooters, so I have to make sure that no questions are asked so that we don't put him in a position where he has to try to dance around anything in particular. So, yeah.
Is it Sidewinder? Is that who?
Yeah.
Well, he, that's
he
could just go. Someone asks a question, and he just goes, "I'm Sidewinder."
I'm Sidewinder.
That's his answer.
And that's it. He's just right on out of it. One last thing about it, I'm very sad to see that Joseph Quinn canceled. He was supposed to be at the show, and word has it that it was supposed to be reshoot. So it's really interesting that they're like, "Oh, we finished all the photography for Fantastic Four," but he had to cancel due to reshoots. So I don't know. Maybe
reshoots nowadays are built in.
That's what I thought. So I don't know when they I just saw something that said that they had finished all the principal shooting for Fantastic Four, and he had canceled his appearance for this weekend due to reshoots for Fantastic Four. So I don't know what that means. Maybe that's a little bit of, this person said this thing, but then the media let out this thing.
I think he probably canceled because he didn't want to go.
Listen, honestly, smartest choice possible, because what are you going to talk about? You're either going to rehash Eddie Munson from Stranger Things, or you're going to be asked about Human Torch, which you can't answer. So all the more reason, smart move. Hopefully I will see you guys there. If so, come give me a high five. If not, tune in next time on Into the Chatterverse, where we will continue breaking down some hot takes, some fun things about pop media. I am Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics.
And I'm Bill, and I'm all for the Disney on Disney hate.
Disney on Disney hate! Ooh, D&D, take that. We'll see you guys next time.